What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to start off by saying, Joseph Parker's win over Wilder has been kind of overshadowed by all the talk about Wilder and his nonsense. Is understandable because people are getting sick of Wilder. And for the first time, I've never seen so many different channels posting things like everybody's fed up with Wilder, his lies, his antics, his constant crying about things when it doesn't go his way. So, Joseph Parker, Andy Lee, Tyson Fury, all that was involved with help, preparing him for Wilder. Look, he still had to go in there and deliver, point blank, and he did, big time. He pretty much nullified everything that Wilder had. Wilder couldn't find anything. I don't care, you talk about ring rust, whatever, even with anything, he wouldn't let his hands go because he was worried about what was coming back at him. And I refuse to give a guy who makes up excuses and point the fingers at other people. Whereas, Wilder at one point said, we spar all the time, we keep ourselves busy, so ring rust ain't an issue because you constantly sparring and training anyway. So, yeah, so I'm going to hold him accountable to that. So, basically, and even when he was asked after the fight, could the inactivity play a part, and he said, maybe a little bit, he said, or something like that, but he said, we ain't going to blame it on that, though. That was his words. Everything he said in that ring, he contradicted himself afterwards. Even sat on 7-8 Sports and cried, literally was crying, and it was, I'm a king, 7-8, I'm a king. King of what? He did all this talking. In fact, there's even a clip surfacing right now of him backstage with his team and his family. They were watching Dubois when he fought against Miller. And you see them all celebrating and happy that Miller lost. He got the nerve to talk about how happy AJ was when he lost. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. I really don't care. But at the end of the day, Wilder is a very arrogant, egotistical guy that think everything is supposed to be for him. He walk around here calling himself, like he's saying he's a king based on what I'm saying. Like what, the king of what? You talking about being the king of yourself, you're being the king of you. Okay, I can understand that, but I mean, all this I'm a king shit and Joseph Parker, like his somebody in this corner, I forgot who was speaking, said but they said everything was so much focused on Wilder versus AJ and Wilder and AJ that they wasn't even talking about Joseph Parker. Like I said, and I said the same thing way before that interview, that he wasn't being treated like a former champion. Like they said, he had a tiny little dressing room. He didn't have a Rolls Royce to drive around in like Anthony Joshua did or whatever. And at the end of the day, Wilder was sitting there bitching, talking about he should have been the main event with Parker. But it's funny because Wilder downplayed Joseph Parker. The Alphabet Boys downplayed Joseph Parker. But it's funny, and they all had Otto Wallin upsetting Anthony Joshua. What did they say? Look at the fight that Wallin gave Fury. He could box. There's no way AJ's going to beat him. AJ broke his nose, beat him up bad. By the third round, his face was already messed up. You understand what I mean? So you go from saying Wallin was the easy fight after you said AJ wasn't going to win. All you guys, remember, when even the rematch with Andy Ruiz, Wilder was predicting AJ was going to lose. He wanted AJ to lose. He wanted AJ to lose. He knows that. But bottom line, it's the type of thing where I'm looking at what Joseph Parker did. And, he still had to go in and execute, like I said, and he did. And it's funny because Malik Scott's words are completely different from Wilder's. Malik Scott said Joseph Parker and Andy Lee had a great game plan. They executed it well, and the better man won. He said he has nothing but love and respect for Joseph Parker. Deontay Wilder changed his tune after the post conference, post interview after the fight, just to turn around and go on 7-8 Sports and cry, literally cry. But he sat there and said Joseph Parker did absolutely nothing. There's no way he should have lost to him. And Malik Scott said there's no shame in losing to Joseph Parker. So he's giving him his credit as a champion, former champion, whatever, but as a solid fighter. Whereas, Deontay Wilder, excuse central. Everything is something just wasn't right. Something just wasn't right. This is why people want to see Wilder get beat the fuck up. This is why they don't care about him and AJ so much, because it's more like, you keep talking all this shit. Like Andy Ruiz said. Now, Andy Ruiz talks shit himself. He's one of the biggest shit talkers out there as well. But he said that he wanted Joseph Parker to win because Deontay talks all this shit about how he'll knock everybody out, but then he doesn't fight them. So he feels like he has a better chance at getting the fight with Joseph Parker. Because he knows damn well Deontay, unless he's forced to fight him or put in a position where the money is where he don't want to turn it down, he's not going to fight. He don't want to fight Andy Ruiz. They were both PBC, and they couldn't put the fight together. Because, why? Deontay Wilder saying, oh, Andy Ruiz wants too much money. Listen, when you don't want to fight, you don't want to fight. And this narrative this lie that Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn don't want to fight him, and that they were plotting on retiring if if Deontay Wilder won the fight, AJ was going to retire. AJ clearly has said he want to be 3-time world champion. He hasn't set on the IBF title, but however it goes, he's going to sit down with his team and they're going to come up with what the situation is going to be. Now, at the end of the day, I just can't get behind guys that just lie and carry on the way that these guys do. Wilder should be ashamed of himself. Let me tell you something. Even if you go back to 7-8, ask him that question about the contracts being signed, he paused. He couldn't even answer the question, and he never did answer the question. He ends up saying, man, there's a lot of things going on, man. He never can directly answer a question. That's how you know the guy's lying. Along with the fact he can't talk without stumbling over his words all the time, he sits there and he says, there's a lot of things going on, man. Man, they don't want to fight. But yet they both signed the contract to fight for a 2-fight deal. The problem was he didn't hold up his end of the bargain. He got his ass whooped. So now, if you look at the bigger picture, because I feel like you should go on to bigger and better things, not sit here and have your career put on hold because somebody else didn't do what they were supposed to do. Now, for me, personally, I really don't care. Whatever happens, happens. Who they fight is who they fight. We've been speaking against right and wrong forever, but a lot of things that shouldn't happen, they still happen anyway, and vice versa. So now, Joseph Parker has a history with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. So the three of them all have a history. Okay, they've all fought each other. We don't know what's going to happen. Usyk versus Tyson Fury. We know that if Usyk, no matter who wins, if they exercise the rematch clause, which I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, whoever loses is definitely going to want to get that win back. So if they exercise it, whoever that person is will be stripped, and then Urkovich will wind up fighting AJ for it, because now you'll have the mandatory, number 1 mandatory, and the number 2 now. And then they'll fight for it. Now, if that happens, now you got to look at Joseph Parker and say, well, who is an opponent you want him to see? The way I see it, if they give Wilder a second chance at Parker, I mean, it could happen. But see, the thing in that is that's exactly what it would just be, them trying to give Wilder another chance to redeem himself. When he, took the task of fighting Joseph Parker and he lost, well, what does that leave Andy Ruiz? And the way I see it, Wilder should have to earn his spots like anybody else. Not just for name's sake, let's just throw him in there again. Let's see if he can get it right. If that happens, Joseph Parker, they want the rematch or whatever, fine, so be it. It is what it is. But what I'm saying is, you should be trying to push Parker forward. You understand what I'm saying? These fights, bigger, better fights, bigger paydays, it's an opportunity. But people are looking at it like, oh, but it's a setback because I don't know why they gave Wilder Parker, because Parker been busy and Wilder hasn't. Okay, that's his fault. So in other words, this is what you're basically saying. You should have given Deontay Wilder someone who was inactive just like him, right? But yet Anthony Joshua, who's also been active, you understand? You guys are saying it should have been AJ versus Wilder in the first place. So what sense does that make? That would have been the excuse after AJ would have knocked him out. Is that where AJ was active? So either way, you know, you're contradicting yourselves. So if he would have, who would they give him a fight against? So that's why they were saying it should have been Miller. Well, no, I think I told you guys Miller just fought in March. So in terms of inactive, you're basically saying give him somebody easy or somebody in the same situation. But should he win, we're gonna boost him up to fight Anthony Joshua anyway. That's the fight everybody want to see. At the end of the day, the only person that I know, I don't know if they talked to anybody in terms of options. It wasn't about you have this opponent to fight or that opponent to fight, but I know that Derek Chisora said that they told him that initially they wanted him to fight Jarrell Miller, and for whatever his reasons was for turning it down, they told him that if he didn't take it, he was going to give it to Daniel Dubois. So that means nothing. It's not like the fighters had no say-so on who they fought. But my point is, just like he said, Fury was pillow-fisted, and that Fury wasn't going to knock nobody out. When the last time you knocked somebody out, and all that shit he was saying then, and he got knocked out. It's the same thing, man. You know, he said all of that, and then you turn around and you say other fighters are making excuses if they lose or if something goes wrong. Like, remember, he said all this 400 rounds of sparring, all this constant sparring. And he said, like he said, right, we've been busy and active all the time. So it's not like we're not getting to work and we training. So all these things you see, but he goes in the ring and he chokes. But you guys don't want to admit it's a step up in competition. Like it's just a coincidence, right? Joseph Parker is way better than Deontay Wilder, and I've always said that. Always. But everybody's always put the right hand. Lennox Lewis said that when, he was kind of shocked at how poorly Wilder boxed because, you can't land the right hand. That's when you think the boxing's going to kick in. But I'm like, but Lennox, when have you ever seen Wilder really box? It's not what he does. He's not a boxer. He's not good at boxing at all. How are you expecting to do something he never does? That's trying to show him respect. They don't want to admit, man, the dude just can't box. He doesn't have that second, third, fourth gear. He doesn't have it. He's not that guy. So this is where I'm making this video and I'm saying, people are trying to taint Joseph Parker's win. And they're making these excuses about, Wilder being, the whole inactivity situation and, I don't think he has his hunger anymore. Yeah, he wants people to think that. It's just the state of mind I'm in. I just wasn't myself. He can never just lose because the other person was better. When we've clearly seen lesser class fighters outbox him. So Joseph Parker did what he did. In fact, like if you saw the video with AJ and Joseph Parker when they was saluting each other for their wins, Joseph Parker had a big knot on the back of his neck, like right by the hairline, and that's from those illegal punches that Wilder was hitting him with. But I guess we're going to act like we didn't notice that. Yeah, all them back here. This is where right here on his hairline, right on the hairline, big fucking knot. And that's where, in all honesty, you remember the hammer fist he was hitting Joseph Parker with? Illegal shit. Yeah. He's fighting like a desperate man at that point, right? Desperate. I'm trying to hit you any kind of way because I can't hit you the right way, so I'm gonna try to hit you any other kind of way. Yeah, he did all of that, and none of it worked. So, moving forward, now if and I doubt very seriously that this happens, but if Usyk and Fury don't exercise the rematch clause, then whoever wins will have to fight Erkovic. And when you look at the way everything else is going, in terms of the heavyweight division, it's like on the next card, how many of the same fighters will they bring back for the next card? That's something we'll just have to wait and see what will happen in between now to the next card. And because what we're going to keep getting in the States is the same thing. one main event with a bunch of other fights nobody really cares about. That's just what's been happening for the longest. And the fact of the matter is, it's always a money issue. It's always the fighters don't want to fight because of the money. And, this talk about legacy is just, it's like they don't care about that anymore. They really don't. So when guys are saying the belts don't mean nothing, well, no. You talk about anybody from the past and how great they were, well, they were all champions. You don't hear people sitting up just talking and about greatness for people who wasn't champions before. So we're not going to start playing this game. Yeah, we know the way boxing is being treated. It's like the belts don't matter in terms of who you put together in a fight. If two guys are not champions, but they're more popular than the champions, yeah, we get that, but that's wrong. That's false. And I watched all these so-called experts pick Wallin to outbox AJ. I watched all these experts. They picked Deontay Wilder to destroy Joseph Parker. I watched all these experts say Big Baby Miller was gonna be too much for Dubois because he doesn't like getting hit when he does, and as soon as he starts to feel that pressure, he's gonna quit. And I watched all of them, Teddy Atlas included, all of these so-called experts, Tim Bradley, Roy Jones, all of them, and they were all dead wrong. Now, if they was to say you're only as good as your last fight, and if that's what you based it off of, well, then you were all wrong. And so now my point, even going forward, well, look at how AJ looked. So how could y'all still talk this shit about what Wilder would do? Because Wilder's last fight, he got crushed. AJ's last fight, he looked like an ace in it. But, Wallin is not Wilder. Well, Joseph Parker isn't AJ. So, and even for people that say they think AJ is not as good as Joseph Parker, well, that's stupid because AJ beat Joseph Parker. And they fight different from each other, but I don't think Joseph Parker is better than Anthony Joshua. I never thought he was better. And when he beat him quite convincingly. Wasn't no seesaw. It was that, no, he beat him. Plain and simple. He beat him. Okay, and regardless, I think that AJ beats him again. I think that Joe Joyce beats Parker again. Parker isn't better now than he was when he fought Joyce. He had an opponent in Joyce that he just couldn't handle. That style, the size, and the fact that Parker has power. People saying Parker can't punch. No, Parker has power. But a lot of the shots, like even against Wilder, if you see, most of him was like kind of hitting Wilder kind of here. He wasn't catching him flush on the chin. But he definitely has some power. What he did in there with Wilder was because he's that much better than Wilder. He's just bottom line. Joe Joyce, for him, as long as he can still apply that pressure like he normally does, if he can do the same things he normally does, he'll beat Joseph Parker again. The style that Joseph Parker will need to beat Joe Joyce, he have to be giving him angles, working off his jab, working to the body, but he has to do this all night. I don't think that Joseph Parker really can sustain that for 12 rounds against Joe Joyce. I just think he just can't handle that style. Like Joe Frazier just couldn't handle George Foreman. Plain and simple. I think that's just the same thing. He just cannot handle Joe Joyce. He couldn't do anything different in that fight. And, unless Father Time kicks in and Joe Joyce slows down where he just can't do that style, pressure, throwing them punches. I just think his style just too much for Joseph Parker. He don't have to worry about that with Wilder. And that shows you the stupidity and how these old ass trainers is going backwards mentally, because when you come from an era where we know skills pay the bills, now all of a sudden it's like they're trying to fit in with this era where people talking about power. Listen, power isn't everything. And the fact of the matter is, you got a guy that's a good boxer versus a guy that's not a boxer at all and a one-trick pony, but everybody's so shocked that he lost. I don't get that. That's because you guys have been programmed to think that's the way it's supposed to be. He's not supposed to beat Wilder. Well, when Wilder was raising his hand at the end, I believe strongly Wilder thought they was going to give him the decision, being that he and AJ already signed the contracts, and that's the fight everybody wanted. There's no way in fuck Wilder think he won that fight. And you going to tell me if he do that something's not wrong with his head? I can understand when you're in a close fight. I mean, a close fight. There's no way in hell that fight wasn't even close. He lost every round. And he's sitting there raising his hand as if he won, shaking his head and raising his hand. Then said he thought he had the upper hand. The upper hand, what? What did you do in that fight? Nothing. What did you do? Other than hit him behind the head, hit on the break, and basically, just had an ineffective, very basic bullshit, nothing happening style. So, Joseph Parker right now is in a really good position. And what I'm saying is, even I feel like he'll beat Wilder again. But what I'm saying with that is, for Joseph Parker, they need to treat him better than that with this whole, oh, he won because Wilder it was a ring rust and all this shit. Look, let me tell y'all something. If you take the job to be a trainer, like what would Teddy Atlas do if he was training Joseph Parker? What would you tell him? Oh, if he hit you with the right hand, it's over. You're not good enough to beat. What would you do? No, you want to employ a strategy that's going to be effective. So according to Teddy Atlas and all these other guys, listening to them talk, they would have probably led Anthony Joshua to defeat. They would have probably led Joseph Parker to defeat. Because even like when Tyson Fury, you remember when he said he was going to walk, he's going to walk Deontay Wilder down, stay right in front of him and back him up. And that's what he's supposed to do. This dude is 273 pounds, 6'9". What the fuck is he running from his little skinny motherfucker for? Yeah, but he could punch. I don't give a shit about all that. You take away what a person does good. You nullify their strengths. That's what you do. That's what great fighters did. So that's why I'm looking at Teddy Atlas like, man, I'm surprised at you, man, because you're sitting there making it sound like Wilder is some really solid boxer. Wilder can't box for shit. And y'all just don't have the heart to say it, but that's just the reality. He can't box for shit. And Malik Scott, with this bullshit, had the nerve to say he's 10 times better than Muhammad Ali and all this goofy shit. You train your fighter realistically, but that's what we're going to do. He can't fight backing up. We're going to put this pressure on him. They're going to say they don't think Joseph Parker can do the same thing Fury did. What the fuck? He did it, didn't he? And this is the point of what I'm saying. So even in your prediction that Wilder was going to win and he got crushed, AJ was going to lose, but he crushed Wallin, and you still try to find a way to praise Wilder and put him up there in the top two still, all this shit. Nah, man. That's that politically correct bullshit. That's that let's go with the right answer. Let's go with what everybody else is thinking. Like, no. For that fight to still happen, okay, so be it. But I don't think you should try to cheat people out of their opportunities just to make a particular fight happen. So, for Joseph Parker, let's just say, because I don't believe at all that Usyk or Fury is going to not exercise the rematch clause. So, let's just say you got Urkovich versus AJ for the IBF title in Saudi. That's the main event. Now, I would think it would be wise to put Parker back on that same card. Now, do you put him in there against Andy Ruiz? Do you put him in there in a rematch against Joe Joyce? Do you put him in with Zhang? Now, the way I'm looking at it is, I say either you put Joseph Parker in there against Ruiz, right? Or against, like what I just said, or Joyce, or like Zhang. Or, okay, let me just pick two out of that. Let's just say you give Joe Joyce Andy Ruiz. Then if you're going to put Wilder on that card, give him Zhang. Give him Joyce. Give him somebody like that. I'm not sold on Big Baby Miller, but I think even he'll beat Wilder. Wilder's just too fucking frail, man. And that style he has, people are not fearing his power anymore. I see Miller just walking him down, and Wilder too stupid to know how to box, just trying to throw nothing but bombs, gets tired, gets worn out, and eventually Miller just wears him out. That's what I see. Now, at the same time, Miller is nothing but a big fat biscuit-eating motherfucker himself. So it's not like there's nothing special about him, but Wilder is just not a smart fighter. So either way, my point is, give him somebody with some credibility. Wilder, I'm saying, make him earn his spot. Don't try to give him some easy ass opponent just so you can make the AJ fight. So if you had since Wilder doesn't want to fight Ruiz, give him Zhang, give him Joe Joyce, give him somebody like that. If you give, like, look at these scenarios, and this is real. The fact that they say, even Robert Garcia was saying it, they don't think they should have gave Wilder Joseph Parker because Joseph was active. But people were saying Joseph Parker is shot. He's washed up. He's done. They wasn't saying that about Wilder. Wilder's last fight, he knocked out Hellenius in 1 round. So they wasn't saying that about him. AJ knocked him out in, the 8th round or something like that? So they wasn't saying that. It's because he got beat. That's why they're saying this shit now. So that being said, if you're going to just try to give him some okie doke fight just so he can try to look good and come back, I mean, really? Really? What's the purpose of that? So we're not earning our spots anymore. We're just handing out, let's just try to give somebody the easiest opponent. That's what people don't understand. That's what Joseph Parker was. He was a sacrificial lamb in their eyes. Okay? He was a rib cage for a lion. That's how they saw him. And it backfired because Parker really can fight. And that's why I'm saying they underestimate Joe Joyce and all that. But see, my point is Wilder's not fighting any of these guys. It's different when you go out there and fight these different guys versus I knock him out, I knock him out, I knock him out, I'll knock him out, and then you don't fight nobody. And then, I mean, come on, man. 3 fights with Fury, 2 fights with Ortiz. Like, that could have been other people. That could have been different opponents. So, yeah, I mean, or the Saudis can say, hey, okay, the PBC didn't want to pay you. We want you to fight Ruiz. They can even do that. Let Parker fight Zhang. Or let Parker, and the reason I'm not so big on rematches, man, is because especially the way he fought and the way he looked against Parker, against Joyce, is like he came back and won some fights. Joyce has no belt. And what I'm saying is to push a guy forward, give him someone he didn't fight already. But if you're going to make it where, okay, all of you guys, we're putting it where all of you are in a position to make more money, bigger opportunities, and it's based on the fighters you're beating, yeah, man, then what I'm saying is don't try to make it easy for Wilder, but try to make it hard for Parker. That's the point I'm saying. So, yeah, I mean, make the fights happen to where they make sense and everybody's earning their keep. We know who the landlord is. They know who it is, and it's pissing them off. So for a guy like, look, Andy Ruiz said, for example, he's not impressed by AJ beating Wallin because he was supposed to beat Wallin. Wallin don't have skill and all that. Andy Ruiz, like I said, he talks shit as well. But Andy Ruiz, he was PBC, Wilder, PBC. They couldn't make the fight happen. He's been calling Wilder out. Wilder needs to fight another top tier guy. That would be like the way some people in boxing think is like, if you're number 49 ranked and you fight ranked number 50, you beat number 50, don't put you in the top 5. Don't put you in the top 10. You understand what I'm saying? It's not, that's not how it works. But I'm looking at, and listening to what people are saying. It's like they're so focused on just trying to make a fight happen or pushing it back to try to make it bigger. So it's like they make the wrong steps a lot of times. Yeah, I know, I get it. They want to try to make AJ versus Wilder before somebody has a banana peel fight. You understand what I'm saying? And then the fight is ruined. We just seen that happen already. So that's just what I'm saying to you. For the sake of making AJ versus Wilder, don't try to shit on Parker. That's all I'm saying. Don't try to shit on other fighters' opportunities because this guy fumbled the ball and was supposed to beat Parker, but he didn't. So, yeah, I mean, all this crying and bitching we seen, this guy sitting back here celebrating with his family, happy that Jarrell Miller lost, and he has the nerve to sit here and cry about talking about Anthony Joshua and Hearn was happy when he lost and all that, and he gave him the ability to beat Wallin. That's what Wilder said. Him losing gave Anthony Joshua the courage to fight like he normally. I'm like, man, this dude is so full of shit and so egotistical and delusional. And you see what I'm saying? All that shaking while AJ's hands, smiling and talking about how he wish him the best. But no, all you doing is sitting up here talking trash. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said when you look at it at that press conference where they were all sitting there, you see how AJ was staring right in his face the whole time he was talking. And when he finished talking, AJ just turned as if, man, this motherfucker, like, because, you know, that's what Wilder does. He play nice in front of you, but talk shit when you're no longer around. And so he got exactly what he deserved. And that's real shit. He got what he deserved. Now, my reason for wanting to see the fight, so we can, you know, they can settle who's I already know who the better fight is between them. But bottom line is, when he smashed Wilder's little skinny ass, I listen. Wilder's been overrated. He always was overrated. I wouldn't mind seeing it because I wouldn't mind seeing AJ smash his ass. That like I said, and of course the Alphabet Boys, including Wilder, gonna make all kind of excuses as to why he lost, and already the excuse about how much money he has and how he's made smart investments and yeah, all that bullshit. So yeah, I don't have my hunger for this anymore. I don't know if I gotta find my killer instinct. All this shit. This is coming from a man that had the nerve to call Anthony Joshua confused and not confident. And listen to how he's talking right now. Yet he claims he's not retiring. So, you know, and by the way, you know, these people are so pathetic, man. This dude, Blue Blood, this motherfucker actually has a video up right now. These dudes are habitual bull-faced liars, man. And he claims Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are making claims right now that they demand that they fight Wilder and fight him next. And the reason for this is because Wilder looked bad against Joseph Parker due to inactivity. But now they feel like because they see that Wilder's not where he should be, they want. Man, you can type in any search about Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua talking about they want to fight him right now. They demand it right now. And the only shit gonna happen is you're gonna see Blue Blood video pop up and whoever else in a little alphabet boys clique that want to make up lies. There was nothing like that said. We all heard what was said from Eddie and what was said from AJ. So there's nonsense about they're demanding a fight now because they found him at a weakened state. No, that's the shit that Fury tried to do to AJ when he had that meltdown at the end of the fight against Usyk. See? And Wilder, in his big mouth, always got something to say. But now look at what he's doing. And you sitting up here, grown-ass man, like y'all was trying to make fun of AJ because he was crying at the end when he lost to Usyk. Yeah, well, you sat there on 7-8 Sports crying. You don't hear AJ walk right here calling, you know, trying to give himself little nicknames to boost himself up to make him feel like he's better than everybody else. He speaks very humble, and this is where people start to feel like, and here's the thing, even after he did what he did, he's still not walking around talking big shit. You understand what I'm saying? So all the shit talkers got their ass whooped that night, and rightfully so. Even when I remember saying that this Magmudov guy, how do you say his name? I was like, I'm not impressed by this guy, man. He's just a puncher. He's sloppy, slow, sloppy feet, no footwork, no nothing, no real head movement. He just has a punch and he's fought the right guy so far. I mean, this guy is not impressive. Oh, but he's a big, scary man. He's this, he's that. And look at what happened. He wasn't supposed to lose to Caballero. He was supposed to beat him. But he got beat the fuck up. Like I said before, he can't take body shots. You can see that. His heart's not there. He's one of those, he's a bully. And his words was, there's nobody on that card that can stand up to him. Mm-hmm. Well, what happened? Was he in the cryo chamber too? You understand what I'm saying? All that talk don't mean nothing. So all the big mouths got beat. They look bad. All of them. They got beat up badly. So when I listen to all of this nonsense about, well, it could have been inactivity. It could have been. And listen, that's not his problem. Why y'all didn't make up that excuse for Larry Holmes? He hadn't fought in like 3 years or something like that. Yeah, Don King called him up. He didn't get a full training camp when he fought Mike. He was 38 at the time. Why nobody made that excuse for Larry Holmes? I mean, we can sit back and go. Like I said, we know certain people get excuses. they get a pass with the excuses, but other people, nah, it's just an excuse, but it's a reason for some and an excuse for others. And Joseph Parker, I should have been talking massive shit. But Wilder continues to run his mouth. His minions continue to sit there and run their mouth and make up. They listen, what I'm telling you guys. They literally make up lies and make a video just to fucking spread poison to people. There's no video that they can prove this shit on. And you never heard AJ. First off, why would AJ and Eddie Hearn be sitting there behind closed doors, sitting there plotting retirement if Wilder win this fight? Then I'm going to retire. This is what Wilder claims somebody in his camp overheard AJ and Eddie Hearn saying. I'm like, man, this dude is full of shit, man. They full of shit. And they had both already signed the damn contract. But yeah, all this other shit, all the claims that they're demanding a fight now. No. This is all lies. That's just made up. I think something is wrong with that dude blue anyway. Something's wrong with him, man. The way he talks, he stutters all the time, his head be shaking. You know what I mean? And he takes all day just to announce a person. Four gold medalist, 5'8", 73-inch arm reach. And yeah. Sitting there shaking and shivering, man. Stop making up lies about shit. Just do your homework, man, and just make videos based off the facts. Stop lying just to feed poison to your little fucking followers, because that's all they do. Nobody care about the arm reach, the height, and all that, man. We're gold medalists. So, we don't need all that shit. Everybody know the information. That shit is irrelevant. Nobody cares about that bullshit. Do all of that and then make up a lie and then push that shit out like it's facts. I'll tell you something else. If you listen to what Joseph Parker was saying about, Andy Lee and the game plan and Tyson Fury being involved in all of the information, you see the point what I'm saying. He's just being humble. He's not talking no type of shit. But all that talk, I'm Dr. Sleep, tell him to bring a pillow and a blanket. It gets a little chilly at night and all that. Just, oh yeah, I know. And all his little minions. Oh shit, yeah, champ said this, champ said that. Listen to what they all saying right now. So I say to Joseph Parker, man, salute him because he did what he was supposed to. And Wilder got exactly what he had coming to him. It's as simple as that. So I say no, fuck trying to give him some easy fight. Nah, that's bullshit, man. You want to give him an easy fight just to end up putting him in a fight where, let's just say, for example, if it is for the IBF title against AJ. Can you say Wilder earned that? No. It's just for the sake of making this fight because everybody wanted to see it, even though he got his ass whooped again. Still no. Let's remember, when AJ got his first loss, Wilder was walking around happy as fuck with that little green belt, and then he wound up getting his ass whooped. And basically, they all share losses. So that fight is not seen right now. It's not seen as the way it would have been seen if it would have happened when it should have really happened. So, with all that just went down, it's like, okay, people still want to see the fight. And it doesn't matter because we already know. But if that fight happens, after Anthony Joshua dusts his ass off, it's going to be nothing but excuses, as usual. But at the end of the day, check him off the list, took care of him, move on to the next one. Wilder, on the other hand, other than holding that little green belt hostage for 5 years because it's a little padded and protected career, that's pretty much what it was. You got people out here, like I said, AJ went and won every belt one at a time. He didn't even have this, he won them all one at a time, with the exception of the rematch against Ruiz. But bottom line, he earned his belts. Why this guy sitting there talking about he was given opportunities and they made him. Man, you got to go win these fights. You got to go win these fights. The very thing you claim, like when he fought Joseph Parker. Now, and listen to his choice of words. Wilder was the one that said, "How you gonna had confidence? You didn't have confidence when you were the champion. So how you gonna have confidence as a challenger?" So again, that's what I'm telling you. So even when Anthony Joshua beat Parker, this is my point. I clearly remember all the Alphabet Boys. I remember Wilder downplaying Joseph Parker as a worthy opponent, talking shit. But it's funny, you fight him and you lose to him. So all the shit that Wilder said, it just came back to haunt him. You understand? So him saying that, and then he got his ass whooped. Well, I say y'all give Joseph Parker the fair shake. You know, they are, and I'm not telling you to give anybody easy opponents, but that's my whole thing. Let everybody earn these spots. And that's all it's about. Like Frank Warren said, right? Everybody know they want to be on that next card. They got to win tonight. So plain and simple. That's what I'm saying. Don't come with this shit trying to stack the deck against Joseph Parker now. Give Wilder some easy ass fight. Because you know Wilder need to have an impressive, he need to have an impressive win against a formidable opponent, not some meatball. And that's why I say when you look at who's there and who's doing what, you have to really think. The importance of the cards being stacked like that should not be tainted by you just handpicking people to try to make certain people look good. And that's why I said initially I think they was trying to make Jarrell Miller look good. Why would you give him Derek Chisora? I'm glad Dubois stepped in instead of just, I mean, come on, man. That's how I'm saying. And I don't look at Jarrell Miller as some big threat in boxing. And in fact, let's look at it though, right? He lost. That's why I hate this saying when people keep telling somebody coming off of a loss, you fighting somebody coming off of a loss. So what? How many guys come off a loss and then dust the person off that they supposed to lose to in the very next fight? So let's say it like this. Now, somebody come off a loss and they mentally just not right, something like that or whatever. That could play a factor in it, whatever. I get all of that. But I'm saying just the point that somebody lost a fight. Let's look at it like this. Joe Joyce will be coming off 2 losses. Jarrell Miller, right now, will be coming off of a loss. So, who would you want to put Deontay Wilder in there against next? So he got his L. He got another L. He has 12 rounds under his belt now, going into 2024. So he needs to stay active. So who you put him in there with next? And that's why I'm saying when you look at it, do they want to now put him in there with Jarrell Miller? Do they want to now put him in there with Joe Joyce? Who? This is what I'm saying. When you look at who is it that you can put him in there with? Put it, he doesn't want to fight nobody. He don't want to fight a Jared Anderson. He doesn't want to fight a Frank Sanchez. He doesn't want those fights. But that shouldn't be up to him. That shouldn't be up to any of those fighters. That's the whole point of what I'm saying with that. And so, who do you want to put him in there with? Somebody that, and this is why you put fight, it's always good to make the best fights that you can. Because this way, no matter who wins, it's a fight that the fans want to see regardless. Not because you're sitting there trying to play favoritism and try to give him a fight you think he can win against. And that's what Joseph Parker was. But it backfired. So, being that Joseph Parker has a history with like I said, with Andy Ruiz, that might be the next fight that they make. You understand what I'm saying? That just might be it. So, I don't personally care to see Jarrell Miller fight anybody. I don't personally care to see him and Wilder. Do you think they want to put Wilder in there with Dubois? Give him Daniel Dubois. Give him Dubois. Like I said, he should have to earn his keep. Give him Dubois. Give him Zhang. Give him somebody that's a top tier guy. But I know the fucking fear. And you better believe since the fight happened, people done sat back and watched that fight and analyze and realize, that's why people keep saying Wilder got exposed. No, Wilder's been exposed years ago. And that's why they keep saying this now, because they're so shocked, like, I can't believe he lost. But, you want to put him in there with somebody that's a top tier guy. That's what top tier fighters do, right? They fight other top tier guys. So basically, for Wilder, anytime a fighter loses fights, they usually try to bring them back with lesser opponents. He's been fighting lesser opponents his whole career, though. See, that's the thing. He's 38 now, so, how many more meatballs do you want to fight? At what point are you going to be ready to fight the top tier guys? This guy needs to get busy. You know what I'm saying? And for him to sit back and take another year off, that's going to always be the excuse after you jump back in the ring and lose is ring rust or some bullshit. Like, no, he needs to stay active. And if he's not going to fight Zhang, a Dubois, he's not going to fight an Andy Ruiz. If he's not going to fight a Frank Sanchez, you're not going to put him in there with somebody like that. Why waste the people's time, though? Why waste people's time and just make a meatball of a fight just because I want to try to make this fight happen? So I want to try to secure it the best way. Let's give him the easiest opponent possible. I don't see the point in that. I just don't. And if you think about it, right, Jarrell Miller and him are both from America. According to Jarrell Miller, Wilder was turning fights down with him. The way I see it, even like with Michael Hunter, why didn't Wilder fight Jarrell Miller? Why didn't he fight Michael Hunter? Why these fights never happen? Why did Michael Hunter and Jarrell Miller never fight each other? Like, see, these fights don't happen. So now you turn around and you think, this guy walking around calling himself a king and talking about he's the most exciting heavyweight and everybody wanted to see him. Bro, you calling yourself the king. You're not even the king of America. Talk about the king. That's one the king of what, man? And I had some idiot fanboy of Wilder talking about Wilder really won that fight. And I told him, he said, hey, I ain't gonna lie, Aries. When you watch the fight, man, like, I see what you're saying, but I ain't gonna lie. Wilder got him. I said, Wilder got him to do what? And he started laughing. I'm saying, I think I said, listen. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But if you're going to talk stupid, we're going to end this conversation right here. Because what I'm not going to do is entertain stupid shit. Because there's no fucking way possible. No possible way. I've known you for a long time. Motherfucker, you as far as I know, you sober, right? You don't smoke, drink, do none of that shit. But you got to be on something real strong if you trying to fucking sit here and tell me you think Wilder won that fucking fight. That was no seesaw matchup. It wasn't close, it wasn't even close by a little bit. He lost every fucking round. And you talking about Wilder got him. We're not going to play that stupid game. So for Joseph Parker, the position that he's in right now, it's not about dodging anybody. That's not what it is. It's about being treated fairly, though. And, years ago, look, how you think Canelo was only 23 when he fought Floyd, but had over 40 fights under his belt? He was fighting often. Ray Robinson, Julio Cesar Chavez, all these guys, just in general. These guys was fighting Mike Tyson. They were fighting every other week. You understand? They constantly fighting, constantly. Where did we come to this era of, well, we need at least 3 or 4 months to train? No. You stay in shape. You keep yourself ready. If you watch K1 tournaments, those guys got to fight 3-4 times a night sometimes. And one night, one tournament. So all of this nonsense now is like, and this whole robot program training where I can only do what I trained for. I don't know how to make adjustments in the ring anymore. This like, man, I'm telling you, there's levels to this shit, man. And like when people want to start comparing, like people talking about Deontay Wilder's a heavyweight Thomas Hearns. I'm like, man, how you going to disrespect Thomas Hearns like that, man? That motherfucker ain't nowhere near the skill level of a Thomas Hearns. The only fucking thing they got in common is tall, skinny, and can punch, got a good right hand. And that's where the comparisons stop. And they both black. That's where the comparisons stop. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? He's a heavyweight Thomas Hearns. Nah, stop that shit, man. Hearns had skills. And Hearns could punch with both hands. And this dude right here is just a guy that's a hype job. He's never beaten anybody elite. And somehow the expectations is once he hits you, it's over. So all this trying to give him extra respect nonsense, y'all can do that. I'm not. So Joseph Parker, man, he did the goddamn thing. And whatever's next for him, I hope they treat this man fair. I hope Joe stay down to earth with his shit, man, and just understand, like, look, this is a dirty game, and basically, people not for you, they're against you. Okay, just like right now, he's on a high. All it takes is one loss if they're trying to really replace him with someone. That's why I'm saying you got to be careful and look at what's going on. And I just think that Joseph Parker, man, like it's. I want to see AJ put the smash on fucking Wilder and shut his mouth once and for all. Because like I said, I've never seen this dude the way all these other motherfuckers do. And everybody's getting sick of his shit now. A lot of people are sick of Wilder's shit now. I mean, like I said, I've never seen so many videos of people like, man, this motherfucker a liar. Now people are finally, yeah. It took y'all a long time to finally see what I saw years ago. But you motherfuckers are seeing it now. And they're speaking out against this shit, the lies that he tells. And it's not just his fanboys, it's him too. So, Joseph Parker went in there, he won the fight, and that's all to it. And just like I said, everybody's saying the same thing. If Wilder had won, nobody wouldn't be talking about his age or none of that shit. I think that, truthfully, he fight another top tier guy, he's gonna get knocked out. I think Zhang will knock him out. I think Joe Joyce will wear him down and knock him out. Unless Joyce, like I said, can't sustain that same level of just pressure like that. Because, Joyce is one-dimensional as well. He's one-dimensional as well. But he's a lot more effective with how he wear you down and break you down. Where Wilder is just the right hand. With Joyce is just constant pressure. Don't give you a chance to think. Wilder's not a thinker anyway. And pretty much, it's predictable where the right hand, he's going to throw the right hand. You understand what I mean? So, every fight is different. But I think that those guys all stop Wilder. And the problem with Wilder is he's been protected for so long. He starts believing in this bullshit about himself to where, and it's not about, I would never tell a person to knock their own confidence. But he really talked like he's better than what he is. And all this, I'm a king, 78. I'm a king, or king. I just, every time I hear him, I picture him saying that shit, it just make me laugh because it's like, man, this guy got his ass whooped. He's talking again like he was bamboozled or robbed or something, like something was done against him. No, you got your ass kicked, that's all. So Joseph Parker, man, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with him and AJ, but I feel like Joseph Parker should be pushed in a better direction. Why? Because let's say, for example, if AJ beats Urkovich, right? Let's say that fight happens, he beat him, now he has a belt. At least now, the rematch they have will also be another title fight. So whether Joseph Parker wins or lose, it's a title fight. You understand what I mean? It's a high profile fight. Whereas, don't try to put him in a bunch of hard fights, but try to give Wilder a bunch of easy fights, or any other fighters for that matter that you want to try to push next. Get them the easier fights. And I say that shit because you see, if you look at the top 10 rankings in all these sanctioning bodies, and you see how the rankings are just so out of whack that it's like, are you serious? Why is this guy even up? How did this guy even get in the top 10? Type of situations. Joseph Parker's only 31 years old, so he's one of the younger ones out of the guys that's been around for a while. So, we'll see. But I'm telling you guys, Joseph Parker is the same guy. This Joseph Parker right now is the same guy that fought Joe Joyce. I was watching him when he was fighting Wilder, and I seen things that he was doing, and I seen the I could see, yeah, he's just that much better than Wilder. That's all. It was Joe Joyce that gave him problems. That's all. Joe Joyce and Wilder are nothing alike. They're two completely different type of fighters, and he wasn't scared of Wilder. Bottom line, he wasn't scared of him, and he went there to fight. So I salute Joseph Parker for what he did, man. I salute it, and he did what he had to, and Wilder got exactly what he deserved. Got his ass kicked. That'll teach you for fucking dodging fighters. And you're 38 now. Now you want to try to make up for lost time. But again, you went in there with somebody that you thought was washed up. Okay? Somebody who you didn't rate, and for you to even say, he doesn't belong in there with me. He has no business beating me. Not even on his most magnificent day and on my worst. Well, what do you call what happened then? That's how delusional you are. You saying this after he did it. So I don't feel like Wilder deserves a shot at the title. You lost your end of the bargain, bro. So they're not going to give Joseph Parker what they gave you. Well, then, bottom line, you need to have to work your way back up just like everybody else. I don't give a fuck about Anthony Joshua and Wilder to the point where I want to see somebody get screwed out of their position nah. Just like I didn't think they should have just handed the opportunity to AJ. But he earned it. You see what he just did? So anyway, salute Joseph Parker. He did the damn thing. Andy Lee and the whole team. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.